Welcome you all to the next lecture in our anthropology series. So today we are starting a new chapter, that is human growth and development. So now the what we'll do is today we'll understand the words growth and development, and we'll start with the stages. So basically in this chapter we have to study about these stages of life, that how a person takes birth, okay, and how after the birth in the childhood what are the kind of growth and development of a person, then becomes an adult, then becomes an old age person. Okay, what are the changes in the body that we are going to study in this? Okay, so before that we should understand these are the stages of human development that we have to study. We have to study prenatal period, that means post pre-birth period, then infancy, then babyhood, early childhood, okay, then puberty, the adolescence period, then early adulthood, middle age and old age, right? So these are the stages. But before studying these stages, you should understand what do we mean by the term in growth and development. So if you talk about the term growth, it refers to the increase in the physical dimensions of an individual. For example, when you were born as a baby, you might be of a certain height or a certain weight. But now, when you become an adult, you grow in your size, weight. So, this is the growth. This is growth. Okay? When your various parts and organs of the body in terms of height, weight, etc. increases, that's growth. But development is a more, you can say, a broader concept. It does not only mean that, because in development we are talking about the enhancement in the functioning of the human body. That means when you're a baby, you did not have the kind of intellect or maturity that you have today. That is development, right? And that is why we can say ki growth to it happens in everybody, but development, does it happen in everybody? So that on a lighter note, of course, development bhi sabka hota hai, because obviously the kind of thought that you had in your childhood will not be there in your adulthood, right? And it would change in your old age also, right? So that development constantly keeps on happening from one phase to the other. ठीक है, but then कभी कभी in a lighter note we can say na this person behaves like a child even today. So what does that mean? That means he is not developed as a intellectual person. So intellectual development has not happened. So now if we talk about development also, okay, so if we talk about development also, development is not only one kind of development. Okay, so as I told you, there could be an intellectual, there could be intellectual development, okay, wherein we are talking about the changes in the mental abilities, like your learning, your memory, your reasoning, your thinking, your logic, okay. These obviously when you are a 8-year-old, okay, or you are a matured person, you are a 30-year-old man, okay, your logical ability would be much more than a child of 8 years, right? So what is that? That is intellectual development that has happened. So one thing is that. Second, you can say that we have physical development also, जो कि which is like similar to, you can say, the growth part. So in physical development, your changes in your brain, your senses, ठीक है, physical aspect का changes. So you can say development is a bigger part under which growth can be one aspect, and that could, you can just say it as physical development also. Then there is individual differences in different people. Then there is personality development also. So how different people's personalities are shaped, that is personality development, or you can say social development, the social component of development, right? So that is also another part. So I hope you now understand the terms development versus growth, right? So growth only denotes the increase in size of the body or multiplication of cells, the expansion of size of the cells. So because we know that body is made up of cells and tissues and organs, right? When they increase in size or multiplicate in size, that becomes your growth. But development includes your functional specialization. When you start to, you take into account the increase, not only the increase in dimensions or proportions, but the improvement in performance of the human body. ठीक है ना? So you become a matured person. There are variety of skills that you acquire that becomes a part of your development process, and it is a gradual and progressive thing, right? Because it will not happen in a day. जैसे कि हम, if I take you to this picture, which stage are you? So right, so this is a process of maybe 70-80 years. ठीक है ना? So it's a long, gradual, diversified process. ठीक है? So I hope you have understood the basic. Now let's just start with our first topic, that is the prenatal stage. That अब हम क्या पढ़ रहे हैं? How human growth and development happens. So हमने बात किया there are various stages. The first one is the prenatal stage. Prenatal मतलब before the birth. So if I had to divide the prenatal stage for you, so I will just like mention it for you. So we can do, the first one is the germinal stage. ठीक है ना? Where the ova meets the sperm. ठीक है? That could be the first stage. Second could be the formation of the embryo. So embryonic stage could be the second one. And third we'll do the fetal stage, when the fetus is formed. ठीक है? Now what is the difference? Don't worry, that is precisely what the topic of the day is. This is only that we are going to study today. And then prenatal से क्या होगा? We'll go to the postnatal. That means after the birth. So after the birth, the first thing is infancy. That means the child is an infant. From an infant it grows to childhood. ठीक है? Childhood जिसमें early, late, middle childhood आता है. Then after that, then there is adolescence, adulthood, and all of that. So first phase is the prenatal phase that we are going to cover today. Second, postnatal में, then there are many which we are going to cover tomorrow. So let's start with the prenatal phase. I hope now the term you understand. So when we talk about prenatal phase, the development proceeds from a single cell to a complex being. Obviously prenatal में क्या होगा? One ova gets fertilized with a sperm. ठीक है? So this thing will become a complex organism in some time, right? So this is the gestation period, right? Gestation period is when this fertilization takes place, and development before the birth is called the gestation period. So पूरे को you can call the gestation period. When the baby is inside the womb of the mother, it is called the gestation period. So prenatal phase is divided in three distinct things. हमने बोला, first is the germinal stage, when the fertilization takes place. Second is the embryonic stage, and third is the fetal stage. ठीक है? यहाँ तक समझ आ गया. The period of prenatal growth is significantly important to the child's future well-being. अभी हम पढ़ेंगे how this is very important or significant in the well-being of a child. The fact remains that it is a period about which certainly we do not have much knowledge. Yes, definitely, because when the child is inside the womb of the mother, okay, we know many things about it. We can take out information, we can derive information, but clear-cut knowledge we don't have. ठीक है? Then let's start with it. Okay, so let's just start with the first stage, and that is the germinal stage. We'll try and understand each and every word, so don't worry about that. Germinal stage, let's talk about that. Okay, so you can say this is when the fertilization takes place. ठीक है? So first thing क्या हुई? That means ova is fertilized by the sperm. ठीक है? So I don't think there is any doubt about this. So this whole thing happens, you can say, from the germinal stage, you can say, is from fertilization till 2 weeks. ठीक है? So this is the period, and in this period you can say within the first 24 to 36 hours, you can just say in the first 36 hours, the single cell, that is the single cell zygote that was made, ठीक है, it starts to rapidly multiply. ठीक है, तो ग्रोथ स्टार्ट्स टू हैपन, बिकॉज हमने क्या बोला, ग्रोथ में क्या होता है, इंक्रीज इन साइज होता है एंड मल्टीप्लीकेशन ऑफ सेल्स होता है. सो ग्रोथ स्टार्ट्स टू हैपन एंड दैट सिंगल सेल zygote starts to rapidly divide, and a human, you can say that a adult human is made up of more than like around 800 billion cells, ठीक है ना. So that is what from a single cell to a human becomes, right? So when this fertilized eggs is dividing, it makes way to the uterus. So क्या होता है, now this single cell starts to multiplicate, ठीक है, तो from a single cell a complex human being starts to it starts to uh, then what happens, the second thing I told you, uterus formation start हो जाती है, इसी टाइम में uterus starts to form. So uterus formation starts, ठीक है. आई थिंक यहाँ पे कोई डाउट नहीं होना चाहिए, बिकॉज आई एम गोइंग वेरी स्लोली, दैट इज वाई आई एम पिकिंग अप small parts of it, so that because I know that many of you are not from a biology background, so इतना भी याद रखेंगे, it will be more than enough. Okay, so uterus starts to form, ठीक है. Now these changes and the uterus is filled with a, you can say, a fluid kind of a thing which is called the blastocyst, and this uterus is filled with a fluid called the blastocyst. Now you don't have to think much about it, you just have to mug up some things, ठीक है. Now this then this uterus or the blastocyst will further divide into two layers, you can say. One is the ectoderm and one is the endoderm. You will just understand everything. Endoderm, one is the ectoderm, one is the endoderm. Now what happens in the ectoderm is that is the upper layer, ठीक है. Ectoderm is the outer layer or the upper layer, you can say. So it becomes, the upper layer becomes the nails, the teeth, the skin, the organs, ठीक है. Endoderm होगी जो, that is the lower layer or the inside layer, ठीक है ना, and that becomes your organs, your digestive system, your liver, your pancreas. So I don't think इसमें कोई doubt है, there should not be any doubt. I'll just okay, I have not put the picture in this one. Let me I'll show you tomorrow that picture, what I was talking about. The picture I'll show you tomorrow, ठीक है. So this is the germinal stage. I hope there is no doubt about this. This blastocyst develops into, further you can say, into a protective and nurturing organ, ठीक है. उसमें there is placenta, ठीक है. Placenta is there, ठीक है, which connects to the embryo and the umbilical cord, ठीक है. Umbilical cord is also part from the blastocyst, it becomes umbilical cord also, जिससे there is nourishment that goes to the child. तो after the birth ये umbilical cord को just they just cut this cord, right, because then the supply of nutrients is no more going to happen from the mother, right. So this umbilical cord is just between the mother and the child, जिससे nutrients are supplied to the children, ठीक है. Placenta is the protective nurturing layer, ठीक है. All of this happens in the germinal stage. That means अभी single cell से एक blastocyst type का something has been created like that, ठीक है. So yes, so first stage में क्या होएगा, there is fertilization will happen, ठीक है. We do not know what forces are responsible for selecting one of the millions of sperm. So इसमें ये भी है ना, there are million of sperms, ठीक है, and which one actually fertilizes and why it happens, we have no idea, or we don't have much knowledge about it. So first stage, I think everything is written here, you can just take a screenshot. These are the 4-5 pointers that you have to write, इसमें कोई doubt नहीं है, ठीक है. Now during this time the cell divides, we have talked about this. At the time of implantation, the blastocyst, as it is called, consists of around इतने cells, ठीक है. Then after implantation, the outer layer of the blastocyst undergoes a series of change, ठीक है. हमने बात कर लिया ectoderm and endoderm का. यहाँ पे ectoderm जो ऊपर वाला है, it will make the skin, the nails, all of that, ठीक है. Endoderm will make the inner organs, so no doubt about that, right. So and it culminates in the formation of placenta, which gives nourishment to the fetus, and this blastocyst then then forms itself into a placenta, which gives nourishment to the child. It becomes the umbilical cord through which the nourishment is actually given to the child, and placenta also protects the child. ठीक है ना? So I don't think there is any doubt about this, and our first stage is done. Now let's go to the second stage, and the second stage is under prenatal is the embryonic stage. ठीक है? Prenatal, let me write it again. Prenatal में we have done, let me change the color. Yes, prenatal में we have done our first stage, which was the germinal stage. Now we are doing our second one, that is the embryonic stage. Now what happens in the embryonic stage? You can say, first of all, this stage lasts for from the second week to the 8th or 12th week, you can say. So roughly this time is the second stage. ठीक है? This stage is the second in the gestation. Gestation हमने बोला कि prenatal को आप gestation phase भी बोल सकते हो. You can just say till the time the baby is inside the womb of the mother, it is called the gestation period. So prenatal gestation is one of the same things. So it is the embryonic stage is the second stage. Okay. And in this period, rapid growth takes place. So in this period, there is rapid growth of various organs, you can say. So respiratory function, ठीक है, then your nervous system, everything starts to develop in the second stage, and this is the most, you can say, a vulnerable stage for the embryo also, because इसमें ही a lot of developmental defects take place. Now I've used the term developmental because I'm precisely talking about कि इस phase में there is respiratory systems, nervous systems developing. So not growth, but we are now talking about development happening, and this is the most vulnerable because all the kind of genetic, you can say genetic defects, any other defects surface in this time period. So this is a very important stage. So I hope you have understood the points. So this is the period. Okay. Yes. So the period of the embryo is considered to begin from the second week after the fertilization and ends in the 8th week after fertilization. 8 to 10, you can say like that. The child now is recognizably human because arms का development, legs, heart begins to beat, nervous system show करता है, ठीक है, and there is reflex responses. So वो होता है ना, the baby starts to kick and all of that, not like proper kick, but it starts to move a little bit. Not kicking does not happen in this. Kicking will happen after this, but the baby starts to move and give certain responses to the stimulus. So second stage is also done. I hope there is no doubt about the second one also. Now let's go to the final stage, and that is the fetal stage. Now let me explain it first, and then we'll go back to the slides and study about that. So next comes the fetal stage. Okay, so now in fetal stage you can say it is 8th to 12th week types. ठीक है? So sometimes you can just combine the embryonic and fetal stage and write about it, but let's go and write about this in alag. Let's talk about this, and this happens till the birth. So this starts from 8th to 12th week, and it lasts till the birth. ठीक है? So that is when the full fetus is formed. And I'm sorry guys, I thought I had put that picture, but I have not put that picture. I'll just show you tomorrow when we revise this part a little bit and move to the next one. I'll just show you the pictures. Okay, so in this time the first bone cell appears. Okay, so your bones vagera and all of that starts to show in the final final stage of gestation. So this is the final stage. ठीक है ना? And your body starts to increase in size to about, you can say, 20 times in length. So from a single celled organism to now a recognizable human being, that journey has taken its place. So the fetus becomes very active. Now it starts to kick, do somersaults, okay, hiccups, then there are active flexes of the body and it responds to sounds and vibrations, okay. So all of this. So let's read about it also. So the fetal stage, because of the rapid growth, embryo is vulnerable to environmental influences. Almost all defects happens in the first 3 months, and then in the fetal stage also it can happen. Then first bone appears in the 12th week. Embryo becomes this is the final stage of gestation. There is active kicking, hiccups respond, everything it does, right? So all of this was there. I hope there is no doubt about this, and if you guys like the lecture, guys, please like, share and subscribe. Do not worry, I'll just show you the pictures also. Tomorrow I'll just show you the pictures. And guys, please do like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much.